Wilson Miles from Black Film TV. Hello, folks. How's it going?
Hi,
Hi,
Wilson.
how are you?
Annabeth, what was
Yes,
that
sir.
feeling like when they called you to come back?
It was just like that. It was what? Amazing. I'm in. I was overjoyed. It was literally kind of out of the blue and yet I had seen Original Sin and immediately it was like, yep, I'm there. Let the therapy begin.
And Bailey, your character's going through a lot this season. There's a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
What more can you say as to where's Bailey's state of mind, season two? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Bailey or Imogen?
Well,
Imogen,
it's
Imogen.
how long do we have, Wilson?
Yeah.
We could get into my state of mind if you wanted to. No, but for Imogen, I mean, look, all of the girls are dealing with like an insane amount of trauma and a lot of healing to do. And I think Imogen is just really lost. I don't think she wants to be. I think she's actively trying to make sense of everything and make sense of her grief and her trauma. But at its core, she has a lot of questions and even stepping back into her, it was so strange, like not to be physically carrying the weight that I did
Mm.
for the entire season. I was like, what is this body? Why am I in a crop top next to these girls? I was so used to being like kind of in the corner with back pain. And so there's just a lot of uncomfortability for Imogen in her life. And I think there's just a lot of growth to be had, and she's trying, but yeah, impulsively making decisions and doing her best.
When people come back and they start seeing you, Annabeth, back in the same role, will they see something different?
Mm.
Yes, absolutely. I think there's the common thread of the therapy space and the therapy speak, which is hard for me as an actress to do because I'm such a dork and I like to laugh, so it's very hard for me to be restrained and just neutral. But yes, I think one of the things I like to say about this season and Dr. Sullivan is that every therapist usually becomes a therapist because of their own trauma.
Mm.
And I think we get to see a little bit of Dr. Sullivan's own trauma.
Okay. Bailey, when you look at Imogen's
I
and
love
everything
him.
she's going through, I got the name right. And I asked this to the other girls, like the fact that everybody's in love with horror films and slasher films,
Mhm.
like you don't find that in a certain group, So for
Yeah.
you and for you, Annabeth, is there a favorite horror slasher films that you can recognize that doesn't have to be the most popular one?
Mm.
Uh, Gosh. I mean, I'm all for like a psychological thriller.
Hmm.
I struggle. It's funny. I love making horror. I struggle watching like blood and gore. I love to create it and I cover my eyes when I watch someone else do it. So Sleeping with the Enemy was like a film that really
Ooh,
messed me up.
yep.
That scared me. And then even though I was in the original or the sequel, I love The Strangers. I think it's such a terrifying
Mm.
franchise and always fun to watch.
What about
I
you, Annabeth?
I would
You have you
agree with
there?
Bailey about the psychological stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like Persona.
Mm.
Bergman's like
Ooh,
Persona is.
Seven.
Oh yeah, exactly. I
Seven.
feel like that kind of deep cut is my thing, but at the same time, I've never seen Jaws, which is pretty
Oh,
much a sin. And everybody that
wait,
I,
Jaws like the shark?
yes, because that's original, like Stephen
Shark?
King
What else of
horror.
Jaws is there? What other
I
Jaws
don't
is
know.
there when you're talking film?
You know what? I just was kind of like, surely she doesn't mean
I
Jaws.
know. I think that's like one of the OG
I don't know if I've ever
horror.
seen Jaws.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But like I won't
What?
go to see Jaws because otherwise I won't get in the ocean.
Hmm. I'll take you on the Star Tram at Universal.
Okay,
We can
great.
see
Let's
the
do
big
that.
shark, and then we can watch the movie.
Good.
All right, so obviously we're not here in season two. There's confidence that they believe in this show because sometimes with season one, you're getting to know who these characters are, and
Hmm.
you want to make sure that you come back and see, have them fleshed out.
Hmm.
So for those who are catching up, and as they see the Annabeth is in there, do they have to go back and watch the original and season one? And if not, what's a good reason to just stick around and watch season two?
Oh, I don't think you need to go watch the
Hmm.
original. It's a treat to do it. I would
Hmm.
recommend it. But no, I think one of the great things about these are kind of standalone but also sequels,
Hmm.
and you don't need to know anything more than what is given to you in the rich worlds that Roberto and Lindsay and their team have created.
Yeah. And if for whatever reason you didn't watch Original Sin, which is sad, but we can get through it.
You can go through it now
You
too.
can, yeah, you can go through it, but we also do a really great kind of recap at the start of the first episode. And so if you're ready for summer, just go hit play on summer.
Hey, congrats coming back. Season 2. Good to see you, Annabeth. Let's hope we can make it back. Season 3, just don't die.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take care, folks.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. Hey, folks, how's it going?
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I always say, now that you're into a season 2, audiences can now pay attention. Because sometimes when we get a season 1 of any show, we don't know if it's going to come back. And I know some people just don't want to get invested. We have way too much product out there. But now that we're here, how comfortable are you in the roles that you're playing? Malia?
Oh my God.
Super comfortable. I mean, like, we were all praying for a season 2, and so we feel very lucky and fortunate that we got to continue these stories because, I think we were just scratching the surface season 1, and I've been learning a lot about Mouse. Some things I did not want to know,
No.
but it's been a lot, and about these 2 lovely people. So
Definitely,
All right, Maya?
it's been so much fun and such a joy to play with. I think season 1 was so much about surviving and making it through. So season 2, we've all had the opportunity to dive deeper into these characters and who they are as humans and what they want and what they desire and what makes them happy, what makes them feel safe. And along the way, we make a million mistakes and lie to absolutely everyone we've ever encountered, but we do our best. We're running from a murderer, so I'll give them grace.
yeah.
And then you, Jordan, obviously you got more to do this season than in the first one. What do we get more with Ash this season? Does he get entrenched into their drama?
Absolutely. Actually, season 1s are all about, creating that space for people to learn who we are as characters. And it's amazing to have a season 2 where everyone, like Maya and Malia said, we get to breathe and you now know our characters and what they kind of are in their DNA. And this season, Mouse definitely drags Ash along into the antics, and he
Love
sort of gracefully obliges.
That's the thing. Mouse is like the one person who has somebody with her steady along with her girls. So she's dealing with 2 different groups out here. What more can we say, as people watch the episodes per episode with Mouse?
It's funny because, like you said, Mouse has like these companionships that sometimes don't really make always the most sense. And you kind of find her in a very unusual and strange world in season 2. She's fully immersed herself in Spooky Spaghetti, which is like an online forum with a bunch of scary short stories and yada, yada, yada. And you find her diving into this crazy, creepy lore that she kind of forces onto everyone else for their better, though. And so it's been really beautiful to watch her, like, in this season, find her voice and also have something to fight for.
What about Noah? What are we getting that's different from season 1?
Oh my God. A lot. All these girls are such a mess. This poor girl. She's just really trying to find her footing. And I think she's also faced with a situation in which she realizes how much she believed to be true about herself and her happiness and her safety isn't really working for her anymore. And I think part of my challenge this season as an actor was finding Noah within so much confusion. And I think there's so much beauty in that because that's the most real way of telling these kind of coming of age stories, which is filled with confusion and filled with just trying to hold on to whatever you can.
Hormones.
Oh, even hormones. Oh my goodness, lots of hormones. So I just think it was really, really fun to play with that, and definitely a very big different side of Noah than we've seen last season. She was just trying to survive last time.
What I find interesting is that these ladies have a love for horror and slasher films, which you don't see anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? They sit down, they'll go see a movie, they'll talk about it, whereas people will be like, nah, I don't watch horror movies. Coming into this, obviously, for each one of you, what are your favorite slasher films? Not horror, but slasher.
Oh, slasher.
Ooh, I feel like Jordan's kind of our resident slasher buff. So
Yeah, I mean, I have always been a big horror fan. I love, some of the classics. I mean, Friday the 13th is incredible. Halloween, we have a lot of elements from that. Specifically, Scream 3 is really prevalent this season. I have a soft spot for House of Wax, which
Ooh.
is campy I mean, Paris Hilton, like incredible actress, love her. And it does like a really good job of balancing the horror and also like the campiness of it, which I think also like our show is all about as well.
Yeah, Jordan shared with me House of Wax, and thank God he did. That movie really
When
wacky and wonderful.
when you do come back and knowing that there is a season two, and you're working your characters, what has evolved from your skill set as actors moving forward?
Oh my goodness, so much. I think selfishly as an actor, the best thing about getting to work is obviously getting to act and learn from your peers and seeing this set of people be so connected and empathetic towards their characters and the stories that we were telling, and at the same time being equally as grounded and heightening everything that we had to heighten for the genre. I think it was so, so fulfilling as a human and as an actor to witness and to learn from. Um, oh my goodness, it truly, like, my favorite thing I think from this whole experience, both season 1 and season 2, was watching my castmates work and learning from them and like kind of obsessing over everything they do, and especially like with the girls and that we spend so much time together. It's so beautiful, and so beautiful to hear them talk in interviews and stuff, because sometimes you don't even know the process that we're all doing for each character, and hearing their internal world, beautiful.
Thanks, Mai. Back to you.
Well, I'm going to quickly end off with you as far as for those who haven't caught up with season one or the previous series, what's a good reason now to watch Pretty Little Liars Summer School?
Oh my gosh, I feel like it's sexier, it's hotter, it's there's more kills. I don't know. I as a viewer of the show, as a fan of the show, am really proud of the work that we accomplished this year. And we have some crazy horror sets and some awesome horror pieces that will keep you gripping your chair. So, I mean, people can decide for themselves, but I think we have a great show on our hands.
Hey, that's well said. Congrats on coming back. Congrats on the
Thank you.
series. We'll talk. Hopefully, there's a 3.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Thank you so much.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Okay. Wilson Miles from Black Film TV. Hello, folks. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah. So coming into this, obviously, I always tell everybody else that when we get a season 2, now we can get invested in these characters, because you never know what season 1 you get invested in and it doesn't come back. We're here now. For those who are new coming to this game, whether they've seen the previous series, last season, but if they haven't, what are we getting from Mallory this season? What are we getting from your character this season?
Right, Kelly. Where we pick up from season 2. It's 6 months after the events of season 1, and so Kelly's been going to school online. She has unfortunately isolated herself from the girls and is in desperate need of healing. And that comes in the form of a church her mom introduces her to, called Our Mother of Holy Grace. And so at first it offers her this sense of community and peace that she's so desperately in need of. But of course, their intentions are not all what they initially seem to be.
Yeah.
And we're gonna discover that along the way.
What about you, Zaria?
Well, Farron has a lot to figure out in season 2. She's rediscovering herself, and she's doing so through trying to figure out what she is. If she's not a dancer, who is she? And I don't believe that she's completely divorced her sense of self from being a dancer, but I do think that she feels that there is a grave sense of pain that comes with dance and that identity. So it's just a lot of rediscovery. It's a lot of turning mud into clay, into porcelain, and cracking it open again and rebuilding it and all of that. Great. Thank you. And I'm a poet now. And so there's a lot of that in there. And I appreciate that journey for her, because it is messy and fun and bloody and kind of a little silly sometimes. Not make the right decision all the time.
Now that you're here, now that you've invested yourself playing 2 seasons, how would you best say you can relate to the character? Is there a little bit of them in you, having played them for now 2 seasons?
You want to go first?
There's got to be something when you read for the parts.
What did I say?
Oh no, I just thought you.
No, I'm gonna
I
think about that.
Okay, let me go then.
Farron is great because Farron teaches me to stick up for myself. She says what she's thinking, and sometimes she could reword it. But yeah, I think that that's something that I aspire to with her. I think that she's not afraid to say what she feels. I mean, of course, this season it's a little different because she, is lying to Henry about how she feels about dance. But for the most part, she sticks up for the people that she loves, including herself. So I hope to emulate that. And I also think that her and I share this drive. I think that, if you give Farron something, she's going to work the hardest at whatever it is, whether it's lifeguarding or whether it's dancing, she is going to be there. And I'd like to say I do that too.
I think so.
Thank you.
I got my answer
Okay,
now.
let's hear it.
I think Kelly at her core is a peacemaker, and her methods may not be the greatest at times, but we see that a lot in season 1. Her relationship with Karen, she's gonna do anything she can to keep her happy. When she is gone from the picture, she's taking care of her mom. She's trying to keep her father calm. And I think that carries over into season 2 too, with her relationship with her mom. All she wants is this stable family. And if that means doing what her mom says, even if she doesn't feel that it's the best thing to do, she's going to do it. And that was definitely my role in my family growing up. Specifically, I'm the third of 4. And between my older brother and my little sister, I was like the constant mediator of, okay, he loved to just bully us, and I love him. He's like my best friend. But constantly being like, this is how it is being perceived from this side. This is how it's being perceived from this side. Can we reach a conclusion? And
I called you a peacemaker, that you're full of peace the other day.
Thank you.
And
I
that's
was
the best way.
I think in friendships too, I
Yeah.
like to
Assuage,
to keep the peace. Yeah, we're calm. Let's stay calm. I think that's I relate to that need in Kelly for everyone to be happy.
Before we wrap up, I want to say that one of the things I like is that these girls have a love for horror films. You don't get that so often. As far as have you seen that slasher movie? Which film, not horror but slasher film, do you like? And it doesn't have to be something popular.
Slasher film so here's the deal. I am a scaredy cat. I can't watch.
What?
I know. It's not a popular thing. I don't say it to gain points, okay? I'm saying it because it's true.
Where you're on the show, did you not practice the run?
No,
the whole.
I say my life is a horror movie. I've ran from scary things in life. I've gotten other ways of researching this, but no, I the most slashery things I've watched, maybe Saw. I could do Saw. I know people don't count that. And then I also did Pearl and Pearl and the other one, X.
Yeah.
I liked those a lot.
Slasher, yeah, it's gonna be
a slasher.
Oh, I don't. No,
I'm just asking.
No, I'm sorry. I was moving on. I didn't say Pearl.
Please take it.
Yeah, slasher would definitely be different from my horror answer. I think probably Scream. It is a popular one. My bad.
When y'all reading the scripts and there's a daydream where somebody's getting killed and it happens to be one of your characters, do you not practice the scare moments?
Oh, of course.
Well, I also feel like I watched those documentaries of the true crime. So does that count? I feel like that helps give me plenty of material.
Yeah.
Everybody's obsessed these days. All right, one of you can answer it at this point right now. For anyone who hasn't caught up with this series, why should they watch PLLSS?
It's scary. It's funny. It's sexy. We got it all. Everything you love. I'm copying this from Zaria. Everything you love from season 1. There's more of it in season 2.
Yeah. But you gotta watch it.
You must.
You want to see it. Anyways,
tag team.
There we go. Congrats on coming back. Hopefully we can make it out alive, and there's a season 3. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope that too.
Yes.
Wilson Miles from Black Female TV. Sharon, so good to see you.
Yes, good to see you.
Coming back, obviously, before I get to these guys, the creatives, what are we getting from Sydney more? We getting more of Sydney or less of Sydney?
Well, it's summer school. She's definitely she's home trying to kind of let the girls, do what they need to do, heal, go to therapy, so Yeah, she's not bikini clad and hanging out by the pool that much this season, but she's there. She's there. And yes.
We'll get more into that. Obviously, when you were told it was coming back for season 2, what was the thinking as far as what the premise is going to be? People don't, is it a continuation, or are we getting a whole new set of synopsis or somewhat? Roberto?
Yeah, Lindsay and I, after when we got the pickup for season 2, we were so excited. We obviously love these characters in this world. And, the question you asked is the question we were asking ourselves for weeks. We would meet and kind of talk. We took a road trip together and just talked the entire trip about what we wanted to do. And when we looked at it, it felt like we did want to kind of have a different feel for season 2. We did want a different franchise. The franchise for season 1 was Original Sin, the mothers and daughters. For season 2, we did want a kind of a change of season, a change of scenery, and that became summer school. Lindsay and I both endured summer school, but we wanted to continue the emotional and thematic stuff from season 1. We wanted to make sure that we didn't ignore season 1. We wanted to play the consequences and the trauma of season 1 and carry them into season 2. So a lot of what we did creatively in those early conversations and throughout the entire season really was striking the right balance of continuing the relationship and themes, but bringing in new elements, new love interests, new villains, new franchises to keep the show feeling as full and muscular and fresh as it could.
Does that present a challenge for you, Lindsay, knowing there's so many characters here and everybody has their own traits and drama, and then you add in new characters. You don't want to have them in the background. Then you have to keep, a semblance of what happened last season.
Right. For sure. That is the creative challenge, but also the fun of it. We don't look at that as a limitation. We look at that as exciting to be able to kind of tell more stories, really expand, make sure that every one of our final girls has a rich story, has a rich arc, has characters that enhance their stories. So we always start every season and every episode, with our liars. What are they facing? What's their theme? Who are they when we left them season 1? Who will they become by season 2? So that's the joy in it. The joy of this is it really is an ensemble show. And, in a lot of shows and a lot of YA shows, you do have 1 or 2 characters who kind of lead the charge, or maybe one titular character. And in this show, we have 5 leads it's really important to us to make sure that they all are in their own way the lead of their show. So that's the fun of it, the challenging, but the fun of it for sure.
And all the girls have their individual stories, but I will say that in season 2, I think they're together more than they were even in season 1. And that, of course, is what makes the show special. Sometimes you don't want the cast members to be together. That's not the case here. The best is when they're together, kind of dealing and helping each other out. So there's even more of that, which is nice.
So when we see Sydney, and obviously there are other moms on the show, are you seen as the voice of reason?
Usually, yes.
I think
sure is.
Whenever you think about the YAs, it's always the adults are the voice of reason. Even though they got their own drama, they got to have that dialogue that seems like, that seems like an adult thing to say.
But you saw how what a mess all of us moms were in the first season. So I'm certainly, we're all flawed, but yes, I am the adult. So I feel like she's pretty reasonable.
Go ahead. Anything else?
No, it was just to compliment Sharon too, and just your energy and your talent. You're such a safe space to be around. And I think that's Sydney as well. Sydney is such a safe space, and Sydney is such a comfort, and Sydney does have the right thing to say. And I always think back to season 1. One of my favorite, most beautiful, and I think very difficult scenes for you and for Chandler was when Chandler, when your daughter came clean to you about sexual assault, and how you handled that, and how you gave her so much love and grace, and you kind of carried a lot of hurt for her, I thought. And kind of seeing you two together in season 2, it's sort of that moving forward and carrying the joy a little bit, and having that together is really nice. So I think that these girls definitely gravitate towards you, both kind of on and off the screen, which is so nice to see.
And as a reminder, it is Sydney who says to Imogen, I think you should have a one-on-one session with the therapist. I mean, she is that character saying like, and by the way, it's like, I can help you, but you also need to talk to a therapist. Like,
So professional.
It's like, listen, I'm having you at home. I think you need a one-on-one session. I booked it for you. You need a ride?
Here's my thing, considering Sydney's Tabby's mom, where does the love for horror film and slasher films come from? Whose idea was to create that? Was that you, Lindsay, or Roberto?
Oh, I think a mutual, we spent so much time talking about these characters and getting to create new characters in the Pretty Little Liars world, which was so fun. But, we knew, as Roberto said, we kind of wanted an archetype for us writers and us horror lovers. And we really wanted someone who was a filmmaker and a horror filmmaker. And we just thought, wow, having a final girl who makes horror movies is so perfect. And she can be such a guide through all of this, and having someone so savvy because she studied what's happening to her in real life behind the screen.
And how crazy are we, Wilson?
Crazy.
There's already one character like that in season 2, Tabby's love interest. Christian Peele, strange name, but we love it, is equally a horror movie aficionado. So it's like, not only do we need one to completely do the Lindsay Roberto mirror images, we've got Tabby and Christian now who can meet each other as horror movie fans and filmmakers.
But I loved about it. Congrats on season 2. Let's hope we can get more out of this. So take care. We'll talk
Thank
to
you.
Thank you, Wilson.
Mhm.